You have to remember that narcissists don't have the same values as you. And trying to understand them with the same frame of reference, with the same mindset of what you're looking at, of what you go through life in, it won't make sense. A lot of times when you're with a narcissist, you start noticing that everything seems to match up perfectly. Like you guys have the same like political views, like you have the same like music interests, the same movies, the same like personalities, like a lot of things you're like, wow, like we match up amazing. It seems like we have all the same things. And what you don't realize a lot of times is that that's fake. That's a facade. It's stuff that's manufactured to control you, to manipulate you, to get with you, like all different types of things. And people struggle to see that at first. And then all of a sudden it starts to slip a little bit. Maybe the pedestal starts to fall. Maybe they start to reveal a crack in the mask and you start to wonder and you start to think, wait a second, like they actually have different values than I do. Like they actually don't match up to the things that I want. They actually don't have the same ideas and the same values going on in their life as like what I want to exemplify in my life. And you're like, wait a second, how did this even happen? You see, a lot of times people get confused that they think like the narcissist of like, why is it going this way? Like, how is it different? Like, why don't they love me? Like all this kind of stuff. And it's because a lot of times people come to perspective thinking like, hey, this is what love is. This is how I view it. And they're like, why don't they view it that way? Well, that's because narcissists have different values than you. They don't connect on the same level. They don't engage in the same level. They don't care on the same level. And it's something I want to be able to talk to you today about and kind of go a little bit more in depth. If you guys are new here, my name is Ben Taylor. I'm a self-aware narcissist on this channel to provide awareness, growth, healing, and change. If you don't know what narcissism is, if you haven't heard the 9 points of narcissism, of the characteristics that actually make up NPD, then download the NARC app. Just type in NARC. There's a free course on there that you can go in, you can look, and you can just hear me talk to you about what the 9 traits are, reading them off of the DSM-5 and helping you understand what it actually looks like on a day-to-day basis. Our goal is to bring awareness, to let people know of what they're dealing with, and to provide clarity in the confusion and the crazy making of dealing with a trauma bond. And when I work with people in one-on-ones and interacting with them on a day-to-day basis, I talk to them of like how to break the trauma bond, how to rewire the mindset of dealing with the crazy making of pulling them back to the person that they know is toxic, that brings out the anxiety, the stress, the overwhelm. And so I help people like get away from that. Either break free, like build like an exit strategy, or to help them like rewire their mindset to be free of being addicted to that toxic person and to deal with the rumination that comes afterwards and to set up healthy boundaries and good habits and good triggers to be able to help them move forward to be happy, healthy, healed, and whole. If that's you and you'd like to talk today, just reach out, go to rawmotivations.com. Would love to interact with you there. To be super excited to be able to help you in your healing journey if that's a possibility. If you guys follow on any other social media platforms, look at TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn as well. We'd love to be able to have you just join some of those communities, just see some of the stuff that we're dropping or talking, or maybe catch a live every once in a while whenever we go live. We'd love to be able to interact with you and help you there. If you do, just look up Raw Motivations. That's where we are on all the platforms. Like, subscribe, help us out. But thank you so much. Appreciate it. So a lot of times we're talking about narcissists. We're talking about how narcissists have different values. Okay, so like one of the typical ones we talked about a little bit this morning in the video that dropped this morning, but like, why does the narc do this to a good person? Okay, and the concept and the thought goes through people's heads of like, why are they doing this to a good person? Well, we have to break it down a little bit logically, and we have to think through the idea of like, when you're saying that, when you're asking that question, what you're expecting is a good and a favorable outcome for the question you're asking. So be like this, like, why does a narc do this to a good person? That's implying that because you're a good person, that you should have something good done to you. Like it's implying like good means that something else needs to happen. Like if I'm a bad person, then bad things are going to happen. If I'm a good person, then good things should happen. And that's the logic that you're applying to that situation, that question. The thing is, the narcissist doesn't apply that same logic. They don't have those same values when it comes down to it. Because at the end of the day, like if you're innately good or not, if you're showing kindness or not, the narcissist doesn't care. Okay? If you're showing kindness or not, if you're an innately good person or not, the narcissist does not care. You see, it's logical for human beings to have a common decency, kindness, love, respect, honor for other people. But the narcissist doesn't look at it that way. The narcissist doesn't engage on the same level of what you're thinking, of how you're interacting. The narcissist isn't going through life thinking like, hey, this is a good person, this is a bad person. They're just looking at, how does this person serve me? How does this person get what I need? What can I do in this person's life? How can I work on this person's life to have them be better for me? But it's not about you. It's not about how good you are. It's not about what you bring to the table. It's about what the narcissist gets from you. A lot of times you think maybe it's what you deserve versus what they want. Because when it comes down to it, it's all about them. You might think, hey, like I deserve to have a good result. Okay? Well, what they want is what they want, which oftentimes is not a good result for you. But that's the mentality. That's the mindset, is it's all about them. The more people that would realize when they're in a narcissistic relationship that has nothing to do with you, that'd be the fastest way to start getting free from that craziness that they put you through, because you start wondering, like, maybe it's about me. Maybe I did something wrong. Maybe this happened. But at the end of the day, it's like, no. It's what the narcissist wanted. If they didn't want you, if they didn't want the next thing, if they didn't want like all this kind of stuff, then they'd actually stay. But they keep going. They keep being addicted to that cycle. A lot of times it's all about them and it has nothing to do with you. One of the things I've talked about some before, I don't think I've talked about as much on like a YouTube video, was like the aspect of when I was with my wife, like before she left, I didn't care about others and I didn't care about her. A lot of times it's hard for people to like understand and to break down this whole like good person concept and the values behind it. But like I knew that my wife was a good person. Like I knew she was a good person. I knew she was strong. She was independent. Like she like had a lot of things that she loved. Like I knew she was a good person. A lot of people would tell me that. Like you have a great wife. You have a beautiful wife. Like all this stuff. A lot of people tell me that. But at the end of the day, it didn't matter. Because it didn't click in my head. It didn't have enough value in my mind to actually make me change, to make me do anything different. So as a result, I didn't. As a result, I kept cheating. I kept going into relationship after relationship. And that's why a lot of times on social media, I try to be able to say every once in a while, like, hey, like, don't get hope from me, because like that is something that will lock you into a relationship like too long, because I didn't change for her. What I wanted was just what I wanted. So if I wanted to put in my mind, hey, I'm a good person, even though I wasn't acting that way or behaving that way or demonstrating that, I was going to play that story in my head and latch onto that so I could keep doing what I wanted to do. Maybe in the relationship, it often came off like I was just the victim of like, hey, I'm with my wife, but like I'm a victim because like she doesn't love me, when she did. But I was the one pushing her away. I was the one pursuing other people. And so as a result, like there is a disconnect. There is a break of trust. But I would keep doing that and keep touting like the victim line of like, I need someone that can love me. I need someone that can understand me. Like she can't connect with me. All those types of things. And people think like, oh, like why didn't you value her? Why didn't you do this? Because it wasn't about her. It was all about me. That was my focus. So as soon as she left, there's an aspect of texting someone else. Like it wasn't like, oh, she left, I'm sad. It's like, oh, she left, next. Because there wasn't a value there. There wasn't a appreciation for the person that was in my life. The same thing would happen in the relationship before she left. And while cheating was the aspect of like walking out of the door and having that mindset shift of like, okay, now I'm out of the house. Now I'm going to go ahead and call the person that I'm with. Like different realities in one sense. So like breaking those apart, jumping from one to the other. And so you have to understand, as me sharing some of like my story and like my perspective, that you have to understand that a narcissist will do this time and time again, because at the end of the day, they don't care what you bring to the table. They just care what they can get. And oftentimes they're addicted to the chase. They're addicted to multiple different things that makes them jump out and want to be with other people. The high of cheating, the high of that excitement, the adrenaline rush of doing different things like that, the high of getting what they want or manipulating a situation or a job opportunity, whatever it might be. You have to remember that narcissists don't have the same values as you. And trying to understand them with the same frame of reference, with the same mindset of what you're looking at, of what you go through life in, it won't make sense. A lot of times the narcissist will put you up on a pedestal, right? They'll put you up on a pedestal and then they'll knock you down. It doesn't make sense, right? Because those values aren't the same. You're like, wait, you were complimenting me the other day. Well, no, the narcissist was setting you up so that they could control you. So they could keep you in their life a little bit longer. So they could keep saying, hey, like keep trying, but I'm gonna keep moving the goalpost. so that you keep trying to be better and you keep trying to match up to what they want or what they're desiring. But they keep moving that so they can keep you on the hook and they can keep feeling like you're chasing them. A lot of times the narcissist will have black and white thinking that'll switch with the pedestal or with the evaluation stage, different things like that, that they'll switch it. And what they do is they do that to justify what they're doing to another person. You've been nice, you've been wonderful, you've been great, you've been faithful for so many years, and you do one thing wrong, you do one thing that hurts them or bruises their ego, and they're like, wait a second, you are now like dead to me. Like I hate you and you're the worst person in the world. They have to be able to switch that logically in order to justify even the idea that they would do that to a person. You see, a narcissist is more concerned about their mask than they are about your goodness or your values. When it comes down to kids and going through divorce proceedings, going through custody battles, two of the biggest factors that control a narcissist in those is their mask, like their image of what's being put out there, and it is money. How much are they going to have to fork out for the divorce or for the custody? How much are they going to have to pay in child support or spousal support or anything like that? A lot of times when they have to pay less, the other person gets the kids more. And you see, the narcissist doesn't have the same values as you. And it's all about them. And it's not about you. And the sooner you can realize that, the sooner you can understand the truth of the situation, that the narcissist doesn't operate in the same playing field, the same mindset. They're not operating on the same game, the same life perspective as you. They're just operating on what they want in the moment and what they have to do the next moment to get what they want to sustain and uphold the mask that they're putting in front of other people.